Now I will hand it off to the lovely Ramona Pitera to talk a little bit about herself. Again, she is the founder of Ramona's Talent, a model and talent agency. Let's all welcome Ramona.
Right, thank you. It's so nice to be here. Thank you for inviting me to come and speak on your platform. I'm, fortunate enough to be not only attend church, obviously, with Eneri, but also we've become very good friends. And watching her transition this past year from being in her field of working in corporate world to now owning and operating her own business has been exciting to watch. And of course, as somebody that have gone through the same walk, it's just inspiring, and you want to share. That's just kind of the nature of the business, especially. So basically, 14 years ago, it was February 23rd, 2009. The company, well, it was actually, let's do 3 days prior to that, was my last day at an agency in the city that I worked at. I had been, I'm a talent agent. I've booked actors in films, theater, and films and television. I then transferred over to doing commercial print, which is a form of modeling. It's basically all types of modeling other than fashion modeling, though I have booked fashion models in shows and stuff like that too. I worked at a top agency. I started up as the intern in college, and then they asked me to come and be the receptionist, and then eventually became an agent. And that's when I started off in the films and television. I realized at that point in my career, my husband and I, we had our daughter, and that if I was going to be the best, I really had to be out every night. And that wasn't really conducive to being a mom. And I wanted to be a mom. So I was looking actually to get out of the business. I was going to become a substitute teacher to figure out what was next. And it just so happened that one of my good friends was leaving the industry, and they asked me to replace her, which was to take over the print division at the talent agency. So I did that. I was there. I ran that for over 12 years. And from there, I expanded into commercials as well. So it was print and commercials. And that was a really, great challenge. And then one day my boss called me. I knew that the stuff was going on within the company. Talent weren't getting paid. There was a lot of delay and stuff, but I really wasn't aware of the finances because that's not what I handled. And my boss told me, he called me up on a Thursday night and told me that he was closing the company, and that I could come in Friday and get my stuff. And that was it. No severance, no nothing. So it was it was shocking. However, I will say this is funny because the Lord does work in very mysterious ways. Prior to that, for 7 years, it was laid on my heart that I wanted to open up my own company. And I thought talent agency, but I just didn't have the right resources. I didn't have the money. Again, my husband and I were young, parents at the time, and I needed to be earning money as opposed to, I really didn't have the resources to not be, I'd have to start it off as a side business, and that's not just how you do it. But what I ended up doing is I got around some really, a lot of my friends. I commuted on the train, and in commuting for 14 years, I ended up becoming very good friends with a lot of my fellow commuters, because not only did we commute from the train in New Jersey to Hoboken, then we commuted from Hoboken to the 23rd stop. It was just really interesting, the group of people that I met, and a lot of them were very successful in their fields, in their current different, from technology to banking, and a lot of them were women as well. And I was encouraged, just to start researching how do you start your own business and stuff like that. One of our good friends, he runs a New Jersey transit company, I think it's called Access Link. So it's everything New Jersey Transit doesn't do. And then there's Access Link buses. Well, that's my friend's company. And so he helped build that company up. And so he gave me a lot of resources as to look into when you're going to start your business. Why are you going to start your business? Ask yourself the why are you doing this? Because, you just don't want to start your business because you hate your boss, right? Because that's really not going to help you. And so it was laid upon me to, I did a lot of reading, lots of different books and strategies. And then it felt it on my heart to start my business plan. So 7 years prior to that moment of me being let go, so to speak, I'd been organizing my business plan. And I was really disappointed at this point because I was just like, oh, it's not going to happen now. I'm making a very good salary. My daughter's about to is entering high school. I've got to get college underway. I'm not leaving this job for 4 years. I know this, right? Because it just doesn't make sense. So I ended up getting in an entrepreneurial class. It was a 7-week class at Bergen Community College. It was just a certificate class, but I figured, it will teach me of things I don't know about running a business that I need to, I'll need to know that I should think about what my weak points are, not everything that I know, but what do I not know, and try to, fill in the gaps of where I may be short in in owning a company and running it. So I did that. And literally that night, that Thursday night was the last class of my entrepreneur class. And that's on my way home from that class is when my boss called me to tell me that he was closing the door. And I just was like, I was shocked, but at the same time, and I had all these resources ahead of me. So the next morning when I woke up, my very good friend, Annie, she was a lawyer and she got me in business. She literally, helped me get my the FIN number and everything for my company. And I literally was in business by Monday, which again was great because I didn't and I already had business. So a lot of my contacts I just reached out to and just said, hey, I'm just starting my own company now. So a lot of the clients that I had been working for just reached out to me and said, just take this over, contact your people. And I had left in such a good way with my boss that he was just like, he was going bankrupt. So he's just like, I want you to be successful. I'm sorry this happened. And so he let me have my contacts and everything like that. So it was literally divine. It was a moment from God. God's hand was on it from the beginning, all through the beginning, from just like you're saying, the dreams, and just the whole guidance and preparing myself along the way for the journey. And so I was literally making money by that Monday. I was booking my talent, which I didn't reinvent the wheel. I just started the wheel. You know what I mean? I started my own wheel, so to speak, So it wasn't like I went from one industry into a completely new industry. I was in an industry and it just so happened that some doors closed and another door opened. So that started my company on February 23rd, 2019 or 2009. And I first started working out of my home. I did that for 5 years. And that was a challenge. After year 3, I was kind of done. I was really like, oh my gosh, because there was no separation between, this is for young moms and stuff. There wasn't a separation between my family and my business. And I really liked that, changing the energy and the space, especially because what I do is very intense. It's with a lot of people. I don't know. I just wanted to have a different space for my work. So I ended up eventually getting an office in Rutherford, downtown Rutherford, which I currently have. So that's been great. And along the way, when I first started out, I decided, I asked my very good friend, Michelle, who's my business partner, to come along and be my business partner, because I realized that my weakness along the way was the finances. Now, it's not that I didn't know how to do it, but I couldn't be a super agent, so to speak, and also run the finances. I knew that would get backlogged. So I needed to find somebody that could be on top, that wanted to be in this industry, that could be on top of the billing, the invoicing and the billing and the talent payment, and handle that, and was accustomed to money, that wasn't shocked by large amounts of money or anything like that. And so just so happened that my business partner at the same time, she was going through a pretty big life event as well. Her husband was dealing with stage 4 cancer at the time. And she had gotten let go from her banking job. She used to take companies and make them public on the trading floor. So she did that for over 15 years herself. So it was a good fit. She also happened to be one of my best friends from my high school and stuff like that. We lived together when we were in college. And so I knew that if out of her, who was going to miss paying the rent, she wouldn't. So I'd be I knew she was solid with money. I didn't have to worry. There was a trust there. And when I say that, it's just because when you go into partnership with somebody, you really have to think about there's trust issues come up. And unfortunately, sometimes some good, some not. And not that everything has been perfect and sunshine and roses for us along the journey. We've had to deal with stuff, but we do deal with stuff. We do walk through it. We both know each other's personalities very well. And we're also able to give each other their space to do their job. So that's nice. It's not like she's looking to do my job or I'm looking to do her job. So it's been a great balance in that regard. So where am I at? So basically this year is the 14th year of my business being of going and still growing. Thank God. We've adapted, obviously, to working in a pandemic and the integration of technology in our business like never before. We were always using technology as far as communication goes, but as far as having people being able to create their own videos and to submit them to our clients, that is brand new, because that would never, I haven't even met anybody in person from my new talent that I take on in over 2 years. I do it all by Zoom now, which is really remarkable. I remember when people used to call and say, well, can't you meet me by Zoom? And I'd be like, absolutely not. So it's just funny how it's changed, right? So, so that's pretty much the journey that I've been on. I still feel that, or I know that God's hand is on my business. It's expanded me to not only know that God opened the doors for me, but also to now where I'm able to use my faith and who has made me to be, to help serve other people in this industry. And so that's really exciting for me. An example is, a lot of times I have to reach out to people for them to submit. And what they'll do is they'll tell me whether or not they're able to do it. And a lot of times they'll be telling me if they're sick or if they've had death in their family and very personal experiences in life. And, it lays on your heart when you're walking through with people like this. And it's been nice because now I'm able to, I'll pray for you. It's not that I'm sitting there being become a Christian or anything like that, but I'll be like, I'll pray for you, let me say a prayer for you and stuff like that. And I wasn't sure at first when I first integrated that into my business, how that would be received. It's like the fear of man comes up on you and wants you to stop you. But I'm like, no, I'm going to push through. And I really have yet to have a person not be appreciative of that. So it's interesting to see how God uses you in your business right where you are. Because especially being in the entertainment industry, it can be very challenging. Sometimes I'm like, I don't agree with this, but I'm not really the one creating the ad. So I'm trying to bring my people to a place, and then I let my talent decide whether or not they want to submit on certain platforms for products and stuff like that. So I think that's where I'm at, but I'd be happy to open up. I'm happy to help you with anything that I can help you with along the way. If you're interested in starting, business or just support, but that's where I'm at for the most part.
Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing all of that. That was, kind of an amazing journey, right? And just to see how the dots are connected and truly, I think pretty much everybody is a person of faith, how God really prepared you for what was coming, right? And continues to shine and provide. Some of the lessons that I kind of gathered quickly from what you were talking about was, to be open to networking. You can make connections even when you least expect it. Like, who would have thought you made all these connections just by being on the train and seeing the same people all the time. So just for the rest of us to just be cognizant of men, you never know. It could be, when you're, doing your daily walk at the park or wherever, like you'll make connections. So be open to that. Because there could be some divine appointments there happening that can help your business, and God may be sending people your way. Also, when you want to start your business, and whatever it is that you're doing next, ask yourself the why. Why are you doing this? And what's your why? Yes. And I'm big on that. I'm big on purpose. Find your purpose. Find your why. Figure it out. If you don't know, call me. Let's become a client. I'll help you with that. Can I just add to that?
Sure. Sure. That question always threw me, to be really honest. I'm like, I didn't know what, I didn't understand what the why was. Yeah. And it's a simple why, right? It's pretty simple. That, for why I was intent, to move forward with it. And sometimes it's not clear. So yes, being able to ask somebody such as yourself to figure that out as well. But that hindered me for a long time, that question.
Yeah. And I think it does for a lot of people, right? Because they think that it has to be this grandiose, bigger than life purpose. I'm going to conquer the world. I'm going to do it. It's like, no, we all have a purpose. We all have a God-given purpose. He uses our gifts and talents for his purpose and his glory, right? And he'll align your desires with his desires for you, right? So, and again, it's funny, we're talking a lot of faith stuff, but it just aligns to what it is that you're trying to do. And there are people like myself that and Virginia is also a coach who can help you through figuring out what those things are, right? I heard you say it was write a plan, right? So that's very important when you're trying to do anything, right? Write the vision and make it plain. The Bible is clear about that. So you force yourself to start writing things down, right? You make it more concrete.
Yes.
And then you it's more easier to start taking steps towards it. So another thing that you touched on was, you were preparing. God was preparing you. Get the learning that you need. Strengthen your weak points, right? Yeah. Know what your weaknesses are. And then you also said, find someone who can help you and partner with you, right? We're meant for community, yes. Right? You don't have to go on the ocean, there's no way we can anyway, but you don't have to go at it alone. And this platform, by having this course, is one of the things that I want to do. One of the purposes of it is to help women such as yourselves get out of your comfort zone, right? And, partner with you along your journey to what your dream is, right? And so that you can achieve that. So there's some great stuff from Ramona, great nuggets. I mean, I took notes, I wrote it down, but I just want to open it to the rest of you. Any questions that you have for Ramona? And don't be shy.
I just want to go back to one thing that you pointed out was the writing it down, the business plan. Yeah. So it's good for yourself as well. But I also thought, what was helpful to me was when I went to the bank for a loan, you have to prepare documents for that. You don't just get, and so having your business plan to show them was help with the legal documents that I needed to get additional finances. I took out a loan when I moved into my office. That's the only time I took out a loan, just so that I could get the furniture and stuff like that. Okay. But having so I'm just trying to share with you, like, so it's, yes,
Yeah.
it's the business plan was so vital to me to organize myself, but at the same time, it became such a useful tool when I went to go get funding.
Awesome. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for that reminder.
I appreciated, Ramona, how you said you didn't reinvent the wheel. You just started your own wheel. I mean, that just says so much that sometimes we think that we have to, as we're starting our own business, it has to be so unique that no one else is offering it, or, we can't, I'm not take ideas from other people, but that says, no, yes, we can, because you're going to make it unique because you are unique.
Yeah.
I really appreciated how you reflect on that.
Yeah.
That's good.
I had an old mentor also tell me one time that becoming the best at your job doesn't mean you're the best performer necessarily. It means sticking to something, and over time, if you keep showing up and being consistent, eventually you become referred to as the best because you're consistent, you show up, you're reliable, which really stood out to me, because I thought, being an agent, I had to be, earning these big monies, and you know what I mean? Like having the, I thought it was dependent upon the income that I was to bring in. Does that make sense? So seeing it in a different light helped me as well.
So good. We got a question. Can we discuss what writing a vision or mission statements look like?
Yeah.
It looks like a lot. It's a lot of thinking through, right? But maybe you can touch a little bit on that, Ramona.
Sure. What I do for me is I generally agree to myself that I'm going to have like either writing or verbal diarrhea. And I'm just going to put it out in any way that I can on paper, what it is on my heart that I'm trying to do. Right. And then I can go back and organize it and make it sound good and presentable to other people. But that way, it allows you to start with that vision, to start see why, you think about what kind of company you're looking to create or do. And you just start throwing down words and stuff like that. And then you eventually take it to people that you trust, such as, like, I would take it to Eneri, my friend Michelle, and I'd be like, okay, this is what I'm thinking. And then they start to ask you questions. Well, this is what's not being clear, and this is what's being clear. So, the vision statement is, what is the essence of your business? And again, that one really threw me. But then when I went to, when I was in Bergen Community, taking the 7-week entrepreneur class, basically I found out it was like helping people make their dreams come true. And I thought that was very profound. I was like, well, I guess it's true, right? If you look at Anna and Christine both saying that their dream was to be an actress, and I'm helping people get paid for that experience, I guess that was what it was. I don't know if anyone else wants to add to that.
Thank you for that. And I agree with that. Just start writing stuff down. Those are called like a brainstorming session. And sometimes you have to do them with yourself, right? There's different names for them that you can find online. And with that, there's what I was saying, there's a plethora of resources that you can find online on how to create a vision statement, how to create a mission statement. Obviously, Ramona shared what worked for her. For me, the same. Anytime I'm trying to figure something out, I will do that. I will just take a piece of paper and just start writing down thoughts and ideas. Obviously, I pray on it. But as I'm writing those things down, the essence of what you're trying to do starts showing through in your writings, right? And again, yes, I've worked a lot with several mentors and coaches over the years who have helped me hone in, right? When I had too much going on, it's like, oh, wait a minute, come back. Let's focus on what it is that you're trying to achieve, and again, also the why behind it, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's how I come up with my purpose statements and which is to ignite positive change in others so that they can in turn be that spark for someone else. And that came out of just a learning that I did at work, right? On finding my purpose. And that took, the essence I knew, but it took a few months to kind of fine tune it for me, obviously, because I was still in the corporate world. But it really helped me get to my core of, okay, who am I? What is it that I want to do in life? And, is that reflected in the way that I talk, in the way that, that I walk, in my actions, in my business dealings, in my ministry, whatever it is that I'm doing, your core of who you are, your why is the same. Right. And if it's not the same, are you being your true, authentic self? So you need to ask yourself that question, because if you're one way at church, one way at home, and one way at work, who's the real you? Right. In essence, it should all be the same. So if you're not, then you're not showing up as yourself. And then that's another kind of, that's counseling. That would be Christine. But it's those questions that you need to ask yourself, right? When it comes to your business, the why. I think a lot of people are first, that I've heard over the years, I want to make money. But if you really don't care for what you're doing, you're not going to be really successful. You may make money, but you're not going to be happy. You're not going to find joy and fulfillment in what you're doing, because that's not the core of who you are. So you need to figure out what is it that you want to do. And through these types of exercises, you'll be able to hone in on what that is. That makes sense?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I see we have, consistency and discipline, which I'm working on. Yes, definitely. That's something we all need to work on. Thanks, Virginia, for that. And also, Anna wrote, when you start, say you work out of home at first, what timeline should you give yourself to start being profitable? Yeah. And Ramona, you can chime in on that. But to me, like at first, it's like, your timeline is whatever you choose, right? And that's why a plan comes into play, right? Why a plan is really important, because you have to write the vision, you have to make it plain. Because if you could write a plan, but if you're not sticking and doing the work, your timeline's going to come and go, right? So you need to make incremental progress, right, to be where you want to be. Ramona, you can chime in a little bit more on that one as well.
I think, that's good. And I think that as far as the timeline to make yourself profitable, so it depends upon the industry that you're working in, right? The industry that you're doing. For me, for my industry, I book a job today and I'm generally not getting, I'm not going to see that money until anywhere from 30 to 90 days from today. So mine has a delay to it. Yeah. So I had to realize like there was a delay to everything. So in that way, I have to think about building a book of business where, again, I'm consistently booking people so that eventually it's chugging. The wheel is moving, the wheel is moving, the wheel is moving, right? And and each industry, and that's kind of like investing, because my husband was an investment banker at one time. The thing of it is like that took time too, because again, you're building a book of business. And so for his line, you really didn't start getting profitable till about 10 years. And the same for us. Again, I already was in the industry, so I kind of hit the road running, but I would say we didn't start 3 years. 3 years was when it started. I mean, it really started to, I think the first year I made $9,000. And then the second year, but then again, I had expenses and I had other people I was paying. So it's just, I think it depends upon the industry you're at, because and when you're coming into an industry, if you're brand new, online businesses, they can start making money right away. If you're selling product where you're getting income for it, it all depends upon your industry. But for me, I'm going to, it was a good 3 years before it really started being like, okay. And then 10 years, I feel like, oh, well, we're at 14 now, but like, okay, the wheel's continuing to turn.
Yeah.
But then, throw in a pandemic, and that was interesting to experience, as well as as all of us kind of went through that time, because my bookings, though they did not stop, they went way down. And that was when the introduction of technology came into the industry. So that kept the wheel rolling again. Being open to something new happening in your industry too. And that's, I think, is important. If you look at, a lot of times a business will write itself out of a market, and because they weren't open that the way that we're communicating changes. And we do, we change. I mean, think about it, like Polaroid was the #1 camera. Why didn't they ever do a digital camera? What the heck was wrong with them? Because they were making so much money off of those developments. That's why. Oh, but you know what I mean? Like you see some, and like Motorola. Why didn't they had the best phone? I loved my BlackBerry. Why didn't they go digital? Who knows? They're out, they're gone. So, you got to think about like that, when these companies that were at one time the top, and then all of a sudden don't, because they stopped turning with the world, as we are all. And that's something that we need to keep doing. Okay, how are we communicating with one another? Yeah. My industry, a lot of things, commercials for the internet now. Social media it's a whole other platform of advertising, which I could have been like, I'm not doing this, but that's how my business took off. I've not paid one ad for advertising for for my company, because I already was involved in social media with my clients. So it's important to think about that too, with yourselves too, and finding your niche where you're getting where your market is.
That's good. Yeah, I agree. Next question is, what was the process for registering your business in New Jersey like? Was it an easy process? What was involved? So I can send you actually the link. I thought it was fairly easy to do that, to register your business, Christine. Well, what I found hard was figuring out a name. Because you think you have the perfect name, but then when you look it up, oh, that business already has it. Oh, that Facebook page, that Instagram post already has it. So it's like, it's finding the right name for you that kind of speaks to you. And one day I'll share with you guys how I got my name, because I believe it was all God definitely got the nudge and was like, okay, yeah, it just aligned up for me. Yeah, I had like a whole full page front and back of different names that I came up with, because every time I would look at it, I was like, oh, no, that one's already taken. Oh, no, that one's already taken. So, getting that, I think, was the hardest part, but registering your business it's fairly easy. And I'll post that.
Awesome. That's great. Yeah. I had my friend Annie do it. So it was it was very easy for me.
Yeah. Cause you can actually get someone to do it for you, accountants that do it as well. But my accountant was like, Eneri, go here, nj.gov, you'll be able to, figure it out. It's fairly easy. If not, give me a call. That way, which she was great, because I didn't have to pay her anything. I did it on my own, and it was fairly easy. And it cost me, except for the filing fees or whatever it is that you need to do. So I'll share that with you guys. Any other questions or anything that you want to share with the group?
Sharing everything that you did. I mean, it's good information and good insight. So thanks.
Oh, thank you, Christine. Yeah, my pleasure. I'm happy to help anyone that, that I can help in any way that I can.
Ladies, can I share something?
Sure.
All righty. So this is a bit something I haven't really shared with anyone, but maybe it's time. When I went back to school to do counseling, I had several conversations with the Lord about, but Lord, what about my passion for business? Like, I see your favor and I see you calling me to be a counselor, and it's just a gift that I have. I've always had it. When I was little, my mother was going to school and I said, Mommy, I want to be a psychologist. I had no idea what it was. but it's just a gift that I have. I have a gift. I think I have of just having compassion on people, because for you to counsel people, you can't judge them, right? And also, like, I'm sensitive to God's wisdom too, and how He wants me to guide people. But I was like, Lord, I haven't thought about helping out women and anyone in such a long time. I've been just thinking about business. And I said to the Lord, if I were to pursue this and let you use me, in a sense, as a vessel in your hands to, bring hope and healing to other people, would you partner up with me in the business side of this passion that I have? And, I thought, great, my husband would be on board with this, like, it won't be too much work for me, so I could also focus on the counseling. Well, come to find out, we were talking, Manny and I, and he's not on board with me with this ginormous business idea that I have. And in the middle of us talking, I said to him, you know what? I'm going to do it by myself. And he was like, all right. And he's like, I don't understand how you want me to help you. I don't have the vision. And I said, but I have the vision. And I was so passionate about it. And in the middle of, like, me being kind of like disappointed that he's not in this with me, I texted a friend, which the first person that came to my mind. And I said, I have this idea. Do you want to come in this with me? And he said, and she responded, I would love to chat about it. And I was like, what? This is really, like, weird, right? How I never even thought of her. And you know what? It's catered to the construction field. And I'm a woman, right? So I was like, I don't know if I can do this by myself. And I said, if I'm going to do this by myself, I don't feel comfortable working with other men, because that's what I told my husband. I said, go find investors. And he's like, no. He's like, I got too much on my hands. I feel like I don't. And I said, I'll give you the vision. I'll give you how to do it. I'll give you everything, but I want you to do it because you're the man. And he's like, no, honey. So he comes back home and he says, listen, I felt like the Lord told me this is for you. And I said, but honey, it's a man's world. Like, and he's like, it's for you. And then I said, well, coincidentally, I text a friend. It's, I don't know, like, I've never, like, worked with friends like that. And I never had friends become my partner. And Ramona, when you were sharing, I was like, would this work? Now, her and I, we met each other, like, years ago. We worked making $30,000 a year at one point, but so we became friends. And then now she's actually married to a doctor, and she's pretty much a stay-home mom, but she's so feisty, and she's just like, I could see her, like, taking a hammer and tearing up walls. Like, she's just, I don't know, something about her, and she's willing to do this with me. It seems like it, but there's also that concern, like, well, but she's like a friend. How would this play out?
Yeah.
So anyhow, that's my question to you. What do you think? What should I look out for? Like, what do you recommend?
Yeah. That's good. Okay. So, what I did, Mila, is I had the roles defined so that Michelle wasn't trying to do my job and I wasn't trying to do her job. So have your roles defined. Okay. So that there's a boundary there. The other thing is we took it to the whole, we got a lawyer involved ahead of time. And we, what's the percentages of who's owning what? And if when we want to leave the company, how is that going to look? Because one day you will, it's either by choice or by death, right? We leave the company. So, or, whether you're going to shut the company down, whatever, you want to have it in place ahead of time that you've had that conversation, right? How do we amicably part ways if we decide we want to part ways? Mm-hmm. And we addressed that as well, because we're like, we want to stay friends. So we might as well we've got to talk about these things now, in addition to what the vision of the company is and what each of us are going to do. and what our roles
Okay.
are.
Okay. Got it. Got it. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Oh, and in terms of like being a woman and entering like a field that's like male dominated,
Mhm.
any feedback on that? Like anything that you could say?
Well, I have 3 brothers. So, I mean, I come from it's funny, I just don't look at life like that, as far as God's giving you just as much desire and purpose for who you are. And you don't look at, you're going to get no's in the world. We're all going to get no. You're going to be told no, but that's not going to stop you, because it's the yeses that matter, right? And stuff like that. If I stopped at my first time, I didn't book somebody, I would never be where I am. So I just, you treat people right, and it'll come back to you, and you make good choices of who you're going to be associated with in business as well. I'm a person that is, trust is a big thing, and being truthful. That has challenged. And sometimes it's, oh gosh, if I told this lie, then I would look great and everything would work out wonderful. But I can't do that. I'd rather be known as somebody that was being truthful to my clients and saying, hey, they're just not showing up, or they're, whatever it is, whatever is going on. So I that's what I would recommend. That's my recommendation, is being truthful, and just don't worry about limitations. I mean, we all have limitations, but at the same time, I think it's in your favor right now to be a woman in business, because there are different grants and loans you can get being a woman. I have not taken advantage of that, just because I just haven't had the time. But you go, Mila. Don't worry about it. You're a woman.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a blessing to be a woman.
Well, actually, my mother was the one who opened up our flooring business. And I mean, you have to see this woman actually doing it herself. And, it's really just on paper, but I'm actually the business owner for Finest Business, for Finest Floors. So, sometimes I'm like the brain behind it, because Manny and I are always talking about it. He's, I'm always guiding him, which in a way, I see that he would come along with me for this new project that I, want to get involved with, but he just doesn't want to be the person in charge. He's like, I'll work for you. He's like, I'll do whatever you need me to do. I just don't want to be the person in charge and, putting everything together, because he has a lot going on. And, on the other hand, I'm trying to step up in ministry too. So there's opportunities coming, and he's willing to take on the responsibility of the kids and the household in the evenings, which that's amazing. So, I mean, there's only so much I could put on him, but he is willing to come along, and he knows a lot, and he knows so much. I mean, he could be a general contractor if he wants to, but he doesn't want to do that. So but I would definitely have his support. Just, he's not going to lead the way. I have to do so. And, I watched my mom be a business owner for all my life. So it's kind of like, maybe I have this in me. Anyhow, prayers needed.
You do have it in you, Mila, first of all. You're right. I think, if it's your dream, right? God gave you a dream, and he'll bring the people to support you, especially obviously your husband. Just, make sure you have balance, because you also want to do the ministry stuff too. And I can tell you, from someone who's been doing both, it can get challenging, right? So you have two little ones as well.
Yes.
So, we have a lot on our plate as women, right? We balance a lot of things. We juggle a lot of things. And I'm sure, keep getting guidance from the Lord. He'll fill in the gaps. But one more thing that I wanted to connect you with is actually with Crystal, who's also on the call, even though I think she's a mute. I think she's still on the call, that's what she does. Her family, are contractors, right? They go in, they fix houses inside, outside, all that good stuff. So she'll be a good connection. She has a wealth of experience in that area. And you take it offline and have that conversation with. And I hope, Crystal, you're okay. You're okay with that. Yeah, there she goes.
Yeah,
She goes,
actually,
here's my number.
yeah. Yeah, I was actually going to talk when you were done
Okay.
to Mila. And one of my biggest things, Mila, because I actually deal with contractors, subcontractors all day long with guys. And one of the things that has really helped me is two things. Actually, the first one is I just have to remember that I am bold and that I'm meant to be doing this.
Yes.
And so before I even step out the door, I'm like, okay, I got this. It's not because I'm a woman that I have this, or if I was a man, I have this. I have this because I am me. As a woman, I have this. So that's the first thing. You have to believe that. And like Ramona said, there are no limitations as a woman. I 100% believe that. I've been doing this. I've been dealing with men for over 5 years now. And there's always going to be that one guy who is a full like macho, and he's not going to treat you with like the same way that he would treat another male contractor. And what do you do with those guys? You don't work with them. You don't make relationship with them. So you move on. You get to choose the people that you surround yourself with. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is I always pray, and I pray that God would give me the right words, and I pray that God would surround me with the right people. And I promise you, God has been doing that, and God has done that in our business. And so like that's my my two things for you. But definitely give me a call if you want to keep talking or bounce off ideas, whatever you need. I'm here.
Sure.
Thanks.
Okay. I'll take your number and we'll definitely talk.
Thanks, Crystal. Well, we're almost at the top of the hour. This has been amazing. Great connections, great tips. I hope you took notes too. Some great nuggets were shared here. And we're here. Well, I'm here. I'm available. Whatever you guys need, questions, point you in the right direction, hopefully. And let's continue these calls. Just to, I feel that we, as women, we definitely have a lot of strength and resilience, and we are empowered, and we can help others feel the same, right? Have that confidence. And sometimes we need to give ourselves that pep talk, like Crystal, to just get out there and do what we need to do, right? It's just life, right? We're just juggling a lot of things, but we can do this. We can be who God intended for us to be. And it's go girls. We got this, right? We definitely got this. So move on forward and like just dream. Like my thought has been this week, man, dream big. If it's not, if it doesn't scare you a little bit, the dream is not big enough, right? Just dream big, and start taking steps. Because then you'll look back one day and be like, wow, look at all that I have accomplished. How far have I come? But if you don't take any steps, you're not going to move forward. Right? So that's my parting words. Have a great day, everyone. And until the next one, 2 weeks. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.